Yeah.
Well, before I joined this webinar, I was in the Grab cab, and I was doing a 10 minutes meditation before I joined this webinar. So there are just many things in my mind since this morning about running 12 projects at the same time. So, but before I go into that on personal self-experiences and how I actually overcame it, I would like to say a good evening to everybody. And first of all, I would like to thank Anthony in organizing this meaningful iRetreat webinar and on the mental well-being, discovering peace and happiness within oneself towards life satisfaction. So I am Colin Yap. I'm an architect and an interior designer who runs a boutique design consultancy services for international hospitality brands in Asia. So I've been living in Thailand for the past 17 years and still counting, and also overlooking firms in Vietnam and Hong Kong. So basically, it's like the life before pandemic is like it's pretty common, like 7 flights per week, and the overwhelming projects that actually have taken a big toll in my health. So I was diagnosed having the high blood pressure and anxiety disorder in the year 2010. I was pretty fortunate that I've met a good partner, which is my missus, who introduced me to this meditation retreat up in the mountain. And that's where I began my journey as a forest monk in northern Thailand. And that is also the big turning point in life that I actually had another perspective towards life on what I actually want in life. So I've been traveling since I was a toddler, moving around from places to places like Japan and Australia. So it's a very big toll for a kid growing up. The pressure that I had a very typical tiger mom in my family. So because I grew up in a family of lawyers and doctors, of me being a surgeon in the future, actually kind of like putting up a lot of mental stress in my mind since I was a young boy. But at last I find my passion in design. So I went on to read architecture, and I'm pretty satisfied with my job right now. But once again, when I step into the career path, so things is not what I've expected from the beginning. It's more stress. It's absolutely more stress. So dealing with like developers, financial institutions, even hotel operators is putting up a lot of tolls and increasing my anxiety and making me more temperamental. So this retreat as a forest monk actually brought me a step back to look into life, what I want in life. So after the retreat, the rightful, so-called the rightful meditation that has been taught by the abbot from the temple, I begin to follow the essence of meditation. It's not just cross-legging, closing the eyes, or well, anyway, you will always have this monkey mind playing around in your head. And it's basically as what P. John has said, is like to focus on one thing. So on my way to join in this webinar in the Grab taxi, I was focusing on the driver's steering wheel. How we actually maneuver the cars around. So it gave me a sense of peace, basically, out from the stresses that I have faced this morning, just this morning alone. And yeah, so living in this fast-paced society and lots of deadlines and dealing with all these people, so my wife decided to sign me up for this so-called ordained as a monk, but far away from the city, far away from the hustle and bustle of the city. And she actually confiscated my mobile phone and and even my MP3 players. So it's totally just natural environments around. I think it's a very, very good experience that I had in my life, in my 47 years of life that I have experienced so far. And it actually made me a better person, how to appreciate small things in life, and even to be appreciative to even the maids in my offices, or what she have done to the office, and even to my junior staff, that what they have done for the company. being more open-minded, being more cheerful, being more everything, not expecting like many things that it's coming right in front of me, but to take everything as like a pinch of salt. So basically, how do we say, when you arrive into the state of meditation, basically your whole mind and body experience the exuberance of joy. That's what I've discovered myself. And absolutely, you can say that if you are standing under just like a fountain of light. Last year, since the beginning of 2020, the pandemic hits around the world very badly. But it's a boon and a bane which this pandemic had brought to the world. The people are beginning to seek psychological treatment on their anxiety and stress, which are spurring hospitality brands and even independent wellness establishments to look into another avenue, that is meditation courses in pristine places with their given natural environment that suits this service. Nonetheless, city hotels are already also experimenting this form of well-being service provider for guests who are seeking something new and a whole new experience. That will be a next challenge for us designers to be able to create a conducive spaces to suit the needs. So I think it's a good pickup time for hospitality brands and real estate developers to look into, and coupled with the experience of me being ordained as a monk before. So that probably kind of like I'm able to kind of like tackle more problems smoothly in the future. So all the life that I went through, it's basically very fixed. It's very fixed by my parents. From college, right up, climb up the ladder in the society until I I operate my own business since the year 2014, and into getting like awards after awards, having the one of the best design around this region kind of thing. But at the end of the day, I say this is not what I'm actually looking for. What I'm looking is for happiness in work. The happiness in what I'm doing, and the happiness being with people who love me around me. Okay, so I think it's with the right mindfulness of meditation, the right technique of meditation, we could actually achieve that kind of state of mind. Yeah.
How do you manage mental stress due to work from home and COVID? Well, Colin, would you like to take this one? You're working from home, are you? And
yes, let me give you an example. So right now I'm dealing with about 5 projects in Vietnam, 2 in Hong Kong, and a few in Jakarta. So you have so many things in your mind, jam-packed in the mind. So it's just like your whole mind becomes like bookshelf. So how are you going to categorize them, everything? So I think the best thing to start off with is to meditate, to focus on something. Just keep your mind blank. Get rid of the monkey in your mind. And then when it comes to blank, this book will kind of like automatically be organized, and you know what is the priority that you will be dealing with. It actually works miracle, having a very meditative mind. So at the beginning to start meditating, it's going to be, it might take days, it depends on people, it might take months, it might take years. So I think with regular practice, all this, it's probably, if you manage to get the accents, it's going to smoothen your life a lot, I would say. Yeah.
wow, that isn't fantastic, isn't it? Oh, I started with 5, 10, and now I'm doing an hour. Not too bad. I'm pepping myself on the side. Yeah. Colin, let's hear from you before we call this evening. And then, Colin, please. Yeah.
Okay, I managed to stretch to 2 hours of meditation, but of course, try not to be a time watcher. 2 minutes meditation is also a meditation. 1 hour is also a meditation. Meditation is also meditation. And do not take so-called obstacles that you encounter during your career path as a failure. Every obstacle are lessons that you learn. And the time to actually exercise your mind to find a solution out and a new avenue out. Things will come around and will be much better. Likewise. So I'm taking a very good example of myself. My company was actually facing a very bad crisis last May. So, but during that time, I had actually, I started off because coupled with the so-called the high blood pressure and the anxiety disorder that actually sunk me into depression. So I was actually closing up myself in a box kind of thing, not wanting to see the world. So one day, my wife just pulled me out and kicked me to the up high in the mountain, and that is where that I woke up. And that's where I woke up. It isn't that bad as I thought. I think there is always a solution to